undertaking.
So everyone, this is Erin Bennett. She is a ranger with the state. She works at Cove Palisades State Park. And she's going to tell us a little bit about some of the programs that are coming up and have been working on at the park. So I'm going to try to get her laptop wired up.
Fortunately, I haven't gotten lost in my own park, so that part is good. So I work out at the Cove Palisades State Park, and this is my second year out at the Cove. I was out at Prineville for the last 4 years, and I've been a ranger for 21 years now. And I do have a quick thing that I wanted to show you about, this is kind of how my day's going, about the park, but I wanted to give you just a little history on it. Has everyone been to the Cove Palisades State Park?
Dave, do you know how to start this up?
Okay.
And you might go to Erin, if you want to log in here, we can bring that up. And catch up on some news.
It's all right. It's okay. Oh, you can't see
That was Halloween. We don't normally look like that. That's actually my husband, who's in charge of public safety with COCC. He was trying to be one of the expendables. All right, so Lake Village Chinook. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. It's been around for a very, very long time. In fact, about 10 to 12 million years ago, we actually had a lot of lava flows come up, start creating this entire area of Central Oregon, kind of is the way that we see it today. And then shortly thereafter, only about 3 million years ago, we actually got the lava caps on the very top of the canyon walls that you see when you go into the Cove Palisades State Park. So this was all part of the Deschutes Formation, or I'm sorry, of the, Deschutes Formation. And so when you come to the park, there's just all kinds of really cool rocks. There's all kinds of, there's one program one of our volunteers does, Faces in the Rocks, and so if you have kids, it's always fun to see what kind of pictures that they can find in those rocks. But it's an ever-changing place. Whether by volcanoes or by water, it has definitely changed the face of the cove. Now, we are certainly not the first people to be there. There have been a lot of native people that would have been in that area. No one actually lived in the park area, but they would have traveled through that area, both for hunting and for trading with other groups. The Wasco, the Northern Paiute, and the Warm Springs Indian tribes all would have used this area. This is our petroglyph rock that is actually, it was saved when the lake was flooded, or when the valley was flooded. And you can actually see this now. It's on the way to the Deschutes campground. There was the Homesteading Era. When white man finally got here, they were making their way west on the Pioneer Trail, trying to make it up to Oregon City. And some people decided to stop and make their home here. Now, whether you decided to live on top of it and look down into the canyon, or you wanted to go all the way to the bottom of it, it was a lot of back-breaking work. And if you decided to live on top, you would have had wagons with barrels that you would have filled with lake water all the way to the top, because if you were lucky, by the time you got back to the top, it'd be about half full. If you wanted to live down in the canyon, you actually would have had donkeys that would have brought down all the wood that you would have built your buildings with. And actually in the mid-1800s, the first white settler built his homestead down there. Mr. Fremont actually, or I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was the first man to live down in the Cove Palisades State Park area, and had quite an orchard. He actually invited a lot of the people to come down. He had apple trees, and so they were actually able to come and help themselves when apples were in season. Portland General Electric is actually a very important partner and part owner of the area that is now Lake Village Chinook. They brought power. It's the only power in the United States that is co-owned with a Native American tribe. So they've obviously gotten up with the times, and this is the Round Butte Dam facility. So all three rivers, Deschutes, Metolius, and Crooked River, all flow in to make Lake Billy Chinook. This particular dam is an earthen dam, and they put this in the 1960s. It was actually completed in 1964, and it's a one-of-a-kind type of operation. In fact, people from all over the world will come just to study how this facility was made, and so far no one has duplicated it. But it's supposed to be able to withstand a 9.0 earthquake. They have quite a fish operation here where a lot of the colder waters from the Metolius sink to the bottom, whereas the warmer waters from the Deschutes and the Crooked River are up towards the top. It really screwed up all the currents, and the fish got really confused. So now they kind of get a free ride. They come up to this facility. They're actually taken out by truck and moved to the other part of the river so that they can continue on their journey. So it's pretty amazing. They do get all kinds of medicines and things to make sure that they're healthy. Round Butte also has a fish hatchery where they actually produce salmon on site to be released into the river as well. So this is what the Crooked River used to look like when people used to haul their water all the way up those canyon walls. And this is what it looks like today. So the Cove Palisades State Park is one of the things that we got aside from a lot of power that goes to Portland. The Cove is actually a pretty large place. It's about 4,400 acres. And we have partners that co-own the land with us from BLM, Forest Service, PGE, Warm Springs, as well as private landowners. If you come to the park, there's all kinds of things that you can actually do while you're there. This was just in case anybody hadn't been there, kind of right there in the middle of Central Oregon. There's all kinds of activities. We're known for water sports and fishing, certainly our camping. We had just about 500,000 visitors, day-use visitors last year, and we had about 80,000 campers. So we are a year-round park. We're open 365 days a year. And we give programs to all the visitors that come that are interested in learning about nature. We have J.R. Beaver there, our mascot. He is in charge of our Junior Ranger program so that kids can learn all about being safe in the park, what kinds of things live in the park, that sort of thing. So that's a really fun thing. The kids get to do certain activities and then they get sworn in as a Junior Ranger and they get to take a badge home with them. So it's very exciting for them. We have nightly campfire programs. So that was a parade on Memorial Day. We do have one important partner, the Cove Palisades Resort and Marina. They are actually our official concessionaire, and they rent all kinds of watercraft to people during the summertime. They have our restaurant, and they also have a store. This is the view looking down on the marina and their boats. So whether you go in spring or in fall, there's a different season for just about anything you want to do. If you've been out in the summertime, you know it's kind of a hot, crazy place, a lot of motorized boats, a lot of fun, a lot of people partying. But when you come in the spring and the fall, things get a little more quiet. And I'm really excited to let you guys know that we are actually working on putting in a brand new paddle trail. It'll be 30 miles, both on the Crooked River and the Deschutes Arms, that you can take non-motorized boats. There'll be maps and everything, suggested trails. So it will be a great opportunity for people that want to get out in those shoulder seasons in the spring and fall. It's a great time to do wildlife viewing. We have wildflowers in the spring, and it's just a really peaceful time to be in the park. During the winter time, this is when the animals and the rangers are out hard at work, well, most of the time. This is when we do our projects. So right now we're redoing our 3 cabins. We have 3 full-service cabins that people can stay in year-round. Right now we're re-roofing them. We're putting in brand new wood floor and tile bathrooms. So if you haven't been out there, they're going to be much nicer than they have been. The other thing that's really nice about winter and shoulder season is the fact that all of our rates go on discovery season. And so to tent camp or to RV is only half as much as it is during the summertime. Cabins actually go down $20 a night. So much better time to go out and see if maybe this is something that you want to do. So yeah, this is the trail. So the new paddle trail, this is the Crooked River arm, that's the Deschutes arm. This is actually the island. It's a National Historic Landmark. It's one of the most untouched pieces of American West. It's only been grazed one time by sheep in the 1920s. I understand there was an illegal still up there for a while. It's now gone. But at any rate, we haven't been the only people partying at the Cove. But basically, the Cove Palisades, when it used to have the ranch down in the bottom, it was known as the Cove. It was a swimming hole, and a lot of local people would go there. The Palisades are these small pieces of lava cap at the top. They make straight up and down columns of basalt, and that's the Palisades. So that's how the park got its name. For our new paddle trail, these are actually all the rangers from Central Oregon all the way down to Collier State Park, and we were getting very important training for our kayak trail that we're putting in. Most importantly, how to save our visitors if they fall out of their boats. Another thing that we do that's super exciting that I just wanted to let you guys know that we do, we've been working with Culver schools as well as Warm Springs, and we would be very excited to work with Redmond schools as well. We have a STEM program, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And this is a way to get kids excited about the science fields. And so they have been coming out into the field for hands-on type of learning outside of the classroom. And this was a project, this paddle wheel, the kids actually had to come up with the design of it, they had to build it, and they had to install it. And the water that comes from the irrigation from the ranches and farms up above the park actually runs through this paddle wheel and generates green energy for a good portion of our Crooked River campgrounds. Last year, our first graders worked with the high schoolers. They learned all about bats, and those brown boxes that they're proudly holding up are bat boxes. So yeah, last year we put in homes for about 1,200 bats that we didn't have previous to that. This year I'm really excited. This is a very overgrown pond, and you can't really tell, but there's actually 5 of these ponds all in a row. They were put in on purpose in the early 90s. And if you look, most of you might not know your plants really well, but there's more non-natives in here than there are natives. There's Canada thistle in here, there's bull thistle, there's teasel, there's Russian olive trees. All these things don't belong there. They're not great things, it wasn't managed. And this is actually probably the most important part of the park. So what the kids are going to do this year is they're going to have to come up with their own management plan for their own pond. They're going to clear it out and let the cattails do their jobs. Cattails are actually one of the best filters that nature makes. It's like a straw. And all that irrigation water that I was telling you about actually flows in the infamous Cove waterfall. We actually have 2 of them in the park. And this used to not be filtered. Before all these cattails were put in, all that water was yellow and it foamed brown at the bottom. So those cattails actually clean out the water. They cleans all the nitrates and sulfites out of the water so that it's clean enough for the fish in the lake. And our first graders this year are starting a mountain bluebird monitoring program. Through a grant through PGE, we were actually able to not only make birdhouses for the park, but they also got to take one home with them. And come spring, they're going to come out and they're going to see what kind of birds decide to live in their houses, how many eggs they have that actually hatch, how many of those hatchlings actually make it to fledglings. And we're going to be comparing that data to a study that the Audubon Society is doing in Bend, just to see the differences as you go north and south through Central Oregon. So very, very exciting. The kids really, really get into it, and it's been a fantastic partnership to get to be a part of. So the real reason that I'm here is Eagle Watch. Has anyone ever been to Eagle Watch? A couple of you. Well, thank you very much. This is actually a really cool event that we do. In 1995, for some reason, there were a lot of bald eagles that congregated in Lake Billy Chinook. They were along their migratory path and they just kind of hung out there for a while. So much so that people started asking questions. A lot of the local scientists figured, well, this is a great opportunity. We can teach people all about the eagles, and it started Eagle Watch. So this year is going to be our 20th anniversary. It's the last full weekend in February, so in 2015 it will be February 21st and 22nd. And I did bring some flyers for you that have a schedule of events on there. I will explain the other flyer here in just a second, but as you can see, there's a lot going on. There's the famous Eagle Watch hot dogs. It is a free lunch to everyone that comes to the event, which is also free, so it's a great family thing to come out to if you just want to come out and enjoy the park. It's a really fun opportunity. So it started out pretty much as a monitoring kind of thing. People just came out, they wanted to see the eagles, and so we have both indoor and outdoor viewing. And we have eagle experts that will come out, they'll show you the wild eagles, both bald and golden eagles fly over Lake Billy Chinook. We'll show you where they are, we'll tell you facts about them, tell you where they go, how many nesting pair we have. Right now, I'll just spoil a little bit of the fun and tell you that we have 10 nesting pair of each.
Great.
But this is what you're really hoping to see if you're lucky.
If you're lucky. Then why go?
In fact, there was just a golden eagle 2 days ago in our Crooked River day use area. And Eric is great, he's my doctor, and he helped me out because I was so busy taking pictures of the eagle that I fell on the ice and yeah, kind of hurt my shoulder, so. Warm Springs always comes out. There's state, local, state, and federal agencies that come to Eagle Watch with all kinds of fun information for people. There's craft activities for the kids. You get to find out what kind of bird you would be based on your wingspan. We make Bluebird boxes that the kids get to take home with them. This is also the home of the Golden Eagle Award, and there have been quite a few recipients. Sorry, just based on the number. Let's see, there's been a recipient ever since 2005. So we have a lot of our Order of the Eagle Awards that have been presented, and these go to local people in the area that have helped with not only education but research and surveying of the eagles. Warm Springs comes out. They always do some of their tribal dances. This happens on Sunday. Eagle Watch is a 2-day event, and the tribes come out on Sunday. And this is really, really special. It kind of ends up Eagle Watch, and they do a lot of their tribal dances for us. They come out in their full regalia. It's a really neat community thing, and there's actually hundreds of people. We actually have over 1,000 people that usually attend Eagle Watch. We're expecting record-breaking numbers this year. And everybody will sit around in this huge circle on Sunday and watch the dances. And the very last thing that we do is called an eel dance, where everyone gets to participate if they want to. And you hold hands and you actually do this big, weird snake kind of dance thing, and it's just really, really cool. And it kind of makes you feel like, you know, you're an honorary part of the tribe for the afternoon. This year we're going to do 2 new things. Our actual longtime person who has been coordinating Eagle Watch for the last 20 years, Paul Patton, some of you might know him, has actually been promoted, so he's in a different department now, and he left me the entire event. So a couple things just to kind of update it and add things to it. We're going to have an Eagle Watch art contest. And this is open to all school kids in Central Oregon from 4th grade through 12th. And they can do photography, they can draw, they can paint, they can carve, whatever makes them excited about art. And we always have fine artists at Eagle Watch. We have a tribal member who is absolutely fantastic, John Finch, who will be one of our judges. And it's just to kind of get more kids to come to the event, and also just to get to inspire them about how beautiful nature can be. So that is the flyer that I passed out to you. If you know any kids that are interested, we will have really cool prizes. The top winners will actually get prizes to their school for art supplies. So it'll be a really fun event, I hope. And the winner will be recognized on Saturday at lunchtime. The other thing we're going to do is how to create a refuge in your own backyard. So Eagle Watch is fantastic, but most of us probably don't get to see eagles all that often. And I really don't want people thinking birds only in February. So the idea is bird watching is absolutely amazing in Central Oregon. Like this numbers show, we actually can get 15 to 20 different kinds of birds in your backyard at any one time. So we are going to actually have Wild Birds Unlimited come up, and they're going to have an entire tent shown just on how to do this. We'll also have some local nurseries be coming up for that, and it'll show you exactly what you can do in your own backyard and how maybe you can start a new hobby that you've never done before. So those are kind of the two new things that we're going to have this year. There will also be a wildlife photographer that will be giving professional tips on how to take pictures of wildlife. And then the last thing that we always do at the end of Eagle Watch is we have a raffle. And there's all kinds of really exciting things from Central Oregon that various businesses like to donate. We have a bunch of new crafters this year that are donating some absolutely amazing pieces. And people actually get to donate to the Oregon Eagle Foundation. 100% of the profits from our raffle go to the Oregon Eagle Foundation, and they will do research and surveying the eagles that we actually have currently in the park. So that's what that goes to. So if you guys are interested, it would be really fantastic if you wanted to come out and check out Eagle Watch this year. That was one of our winners last year. So does anyone have any questions? Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, I just kind of an interesting thing. I was there on the lake one day and I watched a bald eagle teach a young bald eagle how to catch a fish. It was really interesting. We watched him for an hour.
That is very cool. I actually saw something similar, and that off season that I was telling you about in the wintertime is a great time to see that kind of stuff. Last January we watched two immature eagles playing and trying to catch fish out of the lake. And they were both playing and trying to eat, so it's neat.
Do they is that white goat or whatever it is that's down by the dam for a couple of years? I always used to see it on a cliff up there.
I'm not sure if it's the same bird. There's been two that have been hanging out there, so one might have gotten a mate. But
it was there for several years.
yeah, it's very cool. Our populations have been very stable. We haven't lost any eagles, so that's kind of neat. A couple have changed nesting locations. So yeah, getting to see eagles, both bald and golden, is a very high probability, a good portion of the winter out at Lake Billy Chinook. If you don't want to drive quite that far, Smith Rock is a really great place. They have quite a few goldens that are nesting there, and you can sometimes see balds as well.
At our house down the dry canyon.
Any other questions that I can answer for you? Yes, Erin.
How are the roads getting down there in the winter?
Yes, the roads. Well, the county is supposed to plow the roads. Unfortunately, we're kind of low on the priority list, so rangers do get out there and we do the best we can with the small plow that we have. If you have a two-wheel drive car, it's not somewhere you want to go in the wintertime. Save it for the spring and the fall time when the roads are much better. Do be careful not only of snow, but especially in the fall, late fall, early winter, we still have a lot of deer that are in their rut. And there's just deer everywhere right now. They know that the visitors aren't in the park, and so they're just out and about doing their thing, so you have to be careful of that.
Any fishing allowed this time of year or anything open?
Only ice fishing.
Ice fishing, yeah. Actually, the bulls and the rainbows, people are having some good luck with them. So I can send you some information if you're interested in that. Well, I will leave my business card up at the table. If you guys have any questions about the Cove, I'd be more than happy to talk to you. If any of you would like to sponsor our raffle or our art contest prizes, I'd love to talk to you. And thank you so much for inviting me here today. I really appreciate it, and I'm glad that I've made it out here finally.